What's going on, everybody? This is Alex with Wholesaling the Freedom, and what we're going to be going over today is how to filter cash buyers. So for those who don't know what filtering cash buyers is, it's just basically the process of making sure that the buyer is legit and to make sure they have the cash available to purchase our properties that we are wholesaling. Now, for those who don't know what Wholesaling the Freedom is, this channel is where I give out free information, very valuable information on how to operate your wholesaling business. Whether you're doing this locally or virtually, I'm giving out a ton of free information, and I'm even getting some flack from the big dogs telling me I can't do that. I'm giving out too much information for free. So I don't know how much longer these videos are going to be up, but take advantage of it while they are up, and we'll see what happens. So that's what you'll get whenever you subscribe to my channel. And make sure you turn that notification bell on so that way you can get my videos as soon as they're up. That way, in case they do get taken down or whatever, you can still see them immediately. Give me a thumbs up on this video if you like it, and give me your honest feedback in the comments down below. So without further ado, here we go. So filtering your cash buyers. Basically, what you want to do as soon as you get a phone call, a text message, or email about somebody interested in the property, you want to get them on the phone as soon as possible. And the reason why we want to do that is because we can eliminate any drawing out any time or anything like that. You just want to be able to filter them right away. That way you can write them down as a buyer, or you want to make sure that they're not, if they're not serious buyer, you don't waste your time. The first thing I do whenever I get a phone call from a buyer that I've never spoken to before is I say, hey, I saw you were interested in the property on 123 Main Street. My name's Alex. I just wanted to answer any questions you may have about the property. Chances are they're going to ask you a couple questions. You can answer them, and they might even ask you the address. Let's say they're calling a Craigslist ad, because we don't normally post the the property address when we post on Craigslist, and that's because we don't want to have unwanted visitors to the property, and we just want to protect the seller and everything. But chances are, if they're calling you from Craigslist and they're asking about for the property information, 9 times out of 10 they are going to be a legit cash buyer who is just wanting to know the property address to do their own research. I know when I first started, I was very hesitant to give them out any information because I was afraid it was going to be another wholesaler trying to wholesale the deal. But now I know, you got a contract on the property. There's really, nobody can really steal it from you, and even if they do, they're going to make a bad name for themselves, and they're going to be out of business very, very quickly. Don't worry about that too much. It is a thing, but I wouldn't focus on it. So whenever you get them on the phone, if they ask for the property, say, hey, I have no problem giving that to you. The reason why we don't put it on there is because you never know what kind of people the internet's going to bring, and they'll say something like, oh yeah, I understand. Once you give that to them, just let them know, hey, do you have any other questions? Once you've answered all their questions, then I want you to say, hey, do you mind if I ask you a couple questions? And this is where you're going to ask your filtering questions. We want to make sure, 1, are you a cash buyer, or how do you plan on financing the property? 2, how quickly can you close on the property? 3, how much experience do you have with real estate, or have you done a couple deals before? 4, are you familiar with the area? So once you ask those questions, they're going to be able to answer them. And if you're at the point where you're setting up a showing, you can either do a couple things. You can ask them to drive by the property first to see if they're still interested in the property, if they're not familiar with the area. If they are familiar with the area, they may already know what it looks like. Just let them know, hey, have you drove by the property? Did you want to take a look at it first before we go any further? Or do you want to, go ahead and try to set something up? If they want to go drive by, perfect. That, I prefer that, so that way they don't waste your time. Make sure you put them on a follow-up, call them the next day. But if they want to see the property and they want to set it up right then and there, just let them know a couple things like, hey, I'll be more than happy to set this up for you, but I just want to let you know this is a one-time walkthrough. So if you have any contractors that you like to bring with you through these properties, please bring it at the time of showing, because we don't want to waste your time, we don't want to waste our time. And we definitely don't want to waste the seller's time, because we promised them a hassle-free sale. And so that's why we do the one-time walkthrough. Will that be okay? And by us asking these questions, may I ask you some questions? Will that be okay? You're basically you're giving them the control to answer, even though you're controlling the phone call, right? Because that's the whole point, whether you're talking to sellers or buyers, you want to control the phone call. And you're making it seem like you're giving them the power, because you're giving them the power to say yes or no. But obviously if they say no, then you can say, okay, well then obviously we can't do a deal together, or it's not going to work out. So more than likely 99% of the time they're going to say yes. And that's why it's powerful to ask for permission whenever you're doing these things, like, will that be okay? Because then once they give you their verbal yes, most of the time people are not going to go back on the word. And so that's why it's important to ask those questions Once you got a good feel for the buyer, and they got a good feel for what you expect for this deal, and not only this deal but for future deals, you're kind of conditioning them just like you would a tenant for your rental property to behave a certain way, or to act a certain way in this type of business or when doing business with you. A lot of people say that you are allowing the way that people treat you. So in this aspect, you're basically conditioning them to know how to treat you and your partner. Because remember, you got to go back to your partner whenever they have any issues with whatever you're saying. Let's say they want to do something differently from the way you're used to doing it. Just say, hey, I got to run this by my partner, and I'll get back with you. And then you can always go back and say, oh, well, my partner said that he wants to do it kind of this way, and that's kind of what we're doing. So hopefully we can make this work. What's your thoughts? And then kind of go from there. But just simple questions like that, man, that would have saved me so much money and time in the past. I've wasted so much time and energy with buyers who show up and then they just don't even have the money to buy the property. You want to make sure that when they say, do you have the cash? You want to make sure that you ask them like, hey, is it hard money or private money? Because a lot of times when you say cash, people don't understand that you also mean hard money or private money. So if you say, do you have cash? And they're like, oh, no, I don't. But they're trying to use hard money or private money, then you might have lost a potential buyer there. So what you want to say is, when you buy these properties, how do you typically finance them? Do you pay cash? And if they say no, just say, okay, what kind of financing do you do? Oh, I like to go conventional. Oh, well, in this case, we're looking to do cash only just because we want to close quickly on the property. Have you ever thought about using hard money or private money? Oh, yeah, I do have a hard money lender I can use. Okay, great. Or no, I don't. Do you know anybody? Or what is that? And then you can kind of explain it if you want to, or you can say, hey, I know a hard money, private money lender that will love to connect with you and try to get this deal done, and it's a great way for a lot of our investors to get into a property like this one. And that's where it's good to have relationships with hard money or private money lenders, because you can refer them out, and sometimes they'll even give you a kickback if you send them a person. Not only they're going to fund your deal, but they're going to pay you for bringing them a person. Usually they pay you a point or something like that. So pretty cool world. The more tools you have available to help the buyer buy the property, the more chances you're going to get not only your asking price, but to get the deal done overall. So that's where it's really good to connect with people and to just be respectful, right? Even if they don't like, you having a non-refundable deposit, or they don't like the fact that it's a one-time showing, don't be disrespectful. Say, hey, I understand my partner's kind of, he's kind of strict on the way he does things. He's just done it this way for a long time. Hopefully you can understand and we can work together, but if not, I do understand. And you always want to work with them, just like with the sellers. And so that's how you filter buyers. I hope you found value out of this video. I know if I would have had this information a long time ago, I would have saved thousands of dollars and even made more money. But that's where the money is making the mistakes and learning from them. So I want to save you guys the headaches of doing that. The only thing I ask is if you found value in this video, please subscribe down below. Click that notification bell, give me a thumbs up, and then let me know your honest opinion in the comments section. So if you have any ideas on videos you want me to talk about, just let me know, and I'll be sure to do them if I haven't already done them. So check out my other videos, and I'll see you all in the next one.